we are really fortunate to have such a strong collaborative artistic relationship.
Yeah, definitely.
But it was not always that way.
Not always.
So early in our relationship, we embarked on an artistic residency, and it was a huge learning experience for both of us. And we learned a lot about collaborating with your artistic partner when they are also your romantic partner.
Yeah, so this is how not to kill each other during an artist residency.
All right, so we'd been dating for a few months when I said to Kristian, hey, you're an artist, I'm an artist. You want to do an art residency together?
And I was like, whoa, okay, let's do it.
Only problem is we hadn't actually really worked on any art together at that point.
Which brings us to tip number 1, have an existing artistic relationship. Having done a few collaborative residencies before, I think this is super important. Trying to develop that relationship during the residency is going to waste a lot of time that you could be using to put the art forward.
I applied to the residency with an art proposal that I unfortunately finished before we ever got to the residency. So we get there and now we have no plan.
Yeah, so that brings us to tip number 2, which is have a plan.
Have a plan. So by the time we got there, all we really had was these kind of ideas we were interested in exploring, but they were not really specific. There were no real specific goals, just kind of explorations we wanted to embark on.
Yeah, we just had like these vague ideas of what we wanted to accomplish while we were there.
Not just vague ideas, we also had a suitcase of 40 mirrors.
Yeah, one super heavy suitcase packed with 40 mirrors that we dragged on a bus in winter.
In a blizzard. Okay, so to recap, we're stuck in the middle of nowhere with 40 mirrors, 1 hourglass, we're arguing nonstop, I'm standing in field in bitter winter crying and wondering, can I Uber out of here?
Yeah, so that brings us to tip number 3, which is to have realistic expectations of the residency.
Because despite not having a plan, I somehow had really high expectations for what I expected to accomplish there. Then one morning, I grabbed one of the mirrors and I started to make a mask out of it because Kristian had been obsessed for weeks with the idea of making a mirror mask.
Yeah, and we completely threw ourselves into that direction.
And making the perfect mirror mask. So I fashioned this kind of like crown that would sit on the top of his head so he could wear it comfortably.
Yeah, we had a black, what are those?
A face sock? Balaclava. So this brings us to tip number 4, commit to a direction.
So once we committed to one simple idea, everything else kind of fell in place. We took the mask, we took me, and we took it outside.
Mirror face outside.
We took mirror face outside into the outdoors, this beautiful wilderness, and started shooting.
And that's when all the magic happened. So our surroundings were already beautiful, but I think mirror face really elevated even these kind of mundane things like a flat gray sky in the mirror face suddenly took on like a new significance.
Yeah, for sure. The reflections are really interesting because what's in the mask seems to be what the emotional content of the mirror face man is.
So while mirror face was roaming the countryside, we encountered a lot of people who were really curious about what we were doing, which leads us to tip number 5.
Which is just have fun.
So arting can feel really serious sometimes. Once we let go of our expectations, committed to a line of inquiry, started having fun, we discovered we had a ton of momentum.
But then it was time to come home.
We could have let that be the end of it.
So the same day we got back to Toronto, we rented a studio that had a projector and we kept the experimentation going.
Which brings us to tip number 6, capitalize on your momentum. Soon we were working with even more mirrors in all sorts of projects. We've used them in live performances, photographs, films, video projects, every little kind of thing you can think of.
And it all started with this residency, which is really cool.
Which is really cool.
So to recap, here are our 6 tips to not kill each other during a residency.
1, have an existing artistic relationship.
Okay. 2, have a plan.
3, have realistic expectations.
4, commit to a direction.
5, have fun.
And 6, capitalize on the momentum after the residency.
And if you do that, you might survive. Let us know in the comments which mirror face picture is your favorite. They're all numbered.
Mine's number 4.
Mine's number 2.
3, 2, 1, go.
Where do you want to see me or face go next? Let us know in the comments. How not to kill each other while making a video about how to not kill each other in an art residency.
You're like, we gotta get it done.
Tell me I can do it. Oh shit, this is